Everywhere we hear this line. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. But here's the uncomfortable question. Who decided that your body needs food immediately after waking? If we go back in history, humans did eat in the morning sometimes, but not as a strict rule. For many societies, the first proper meal was later in the day. So today, let's do a real retrospective deep dive. Where did breakfast become a fixed concept? How did it enter India, and why did packaged breakfast brands work so hard to make it feel mandatory? In ancient societies, the morning meal was usually small and practical. In Greece, it could be simple bread dipped in wine, with figs or olives. Rome also had a light early meal, not a heavy feast. Then in medieval Europe, breakfast wasn't even respected. For many people, eating early could be seen as unnecessary, even morally questionable. The pattern was often 2 meals, later in the day, not early morning. The big shift comes with industrial life. Factories, fixed work hours, long shifts. Now people needed quick energy before leaving home. Breakfast becomes a routine, because the clock demands it. Now let's come to India. Traditionally, India had strong regional morning foods. But in many communities, the structure of the day revolved around a main meal around midday and a lighter evening meal. In many rural settings, people didn't treat breakfast as compulsory. Some accounts describe farmers taking no morning meal and eating primarily at noon. Also, India already had its own logic of morning eating. In many traditions, the morning meal was hot, fresh, and savory, not cold milk plus dry flakes. So India didn't have a single breakfast rule. It had region, work, season, household structure, and food availability deciding the rhythm. During British rule, the colonizers brought their own time structure and dining routine. They often ate chota hazri, an early morning meal. And interestingly, British breakfast in India sometimes included curry and rice. But the deeper impact was not only what they ate, it was what they changed in the system. Tea became massive. Large-scale tea plantations expanded, and tea was promoted as a daily habit. Advertising pushed the idea that a day feels incomplete without tea, and even breakfast feels incomplete without tea. Bread and bakeries also spread in cities. Bread is fast, convenient, and fits office-time life. So for many urban Indians, a new routine emerges. Tea and bread, quicker than traditional cooking. Now, let's address the most repeated belief. Britishers funded breakfast research to sell cereals in India. The reality is more layered. Yes, the colonial state funded nutrition research, especially in the 1930s. But the goal was not to sell cornflakes. The goal was labor efficiency, famine management, and keeping the workforce functioning. At the same time, private companies used a different strategy. They entered India by medicalizing products. Malted drinks and health tonics were a huge entry point. Brands positioned themselves like science in a jar, not just food, but growth, strength, and a sharper mind. So 2 tracks ran together. One track was state nutrition and labor logic. The other track was corporate marketing, and people mixed them up over time. Now, about breakfast is the most important meal of the day. That phrase didn't become popular because of timeless biology. It became popular because cereal companies marketed it extremely well. In the West, cereal rose from health reform movements, then became a mass product. And by the mid-20th century, advertising tied breakfast to productivity and success. Then India's big packaged cereal moment came later. In the 1990s, after liberalization, Kellogg's entered India and faced a shock, because India's breakfast grammar was different. Cold cereal felt bland, and hot milk made flakes soggy. So companies adapted. Oats became masala oats, flavors became localized, and the market grew by bending toward Indian habits, not by fully replacing them. Now here's the modern truth. Breakfast is not a universal must for every adult body. What matters more is your total diet quality and your health needs. For children, heavy laborers, and people who truly feel hunger in the morning, breakfast can be powerful. But for many adults, forcing breakfast just because a slogan said so is not science. So the real takeaway is simple. Breakfast is optional, but ultra-processed breakfast industry thinking is not.